All right, let's get started. We have a lot to cover today. My name is Prashant Kumar. Again, I'm not an attorney, financial advisor, tax advisor, or a consultant or an accountant. Please seek professional advice. I live in Long Island. We have our team portfolio of about $146 million. I meditate regularly. I do multifamily and I do assisted living. We are here. Basically, if you want to talk to us, you have the QR code. Please feel free to scan that. We do free underwriting sessions every Saturday at 4 p.m. Feel free to scan that. You can take the screenshot of this slide. And we have a small inner circle group where we are helping very elite group of people to become part of deals in syndication. So if you want to join our waiting list, feel free to scan this QR code and we can talk about it to see if you are a good fit for joining our group. So syndication steps, as I started to talk about, today we are going to focus on active investments. Okay, so you want to locate where you want to, where do you want to invest in, and gather all the data to pin down the market and neighborhoods. You decide the price point you want to work with, identify the role, because syndication is a bigger business. So you identify a role which you want to play in this, right? You gather all this information, basically. You put all the information that should be available to us. You make a list of brokers. So one is identifying the market. Second is make a list of brokers in that area and start introducing yourself, basically. Talk to the local bankers, credit unions in the location. So let's say you identify in Indianapolis, right? So you want to find out, okay, this is the place where I want to invest in, I want to do the business. So you have identified the location. Now you want to go start talking to the brokers in that market. And then you start talking to the lenders in that market. And once brokers start sending you the deals, you start writing the LOIs, basically letter of intention. Once you are starting to do this, we should start, talking to general contract GC companies and property management companies, right? So you are doing the LOIs, and I'm doing it a little bit faster than that because it's a lot of material. Once you have a property, which broker has sent you, you analyze the property, right? You make notes, whom you have spoken. You keep track of, a lot of things go on. You talk to the PM company, brokers, bankers, local businesses, and sometimes you want to talk to the tenants in the community also, to see, to get to know the story about the property, right? Once your LOI is acknowledged by the seller, normally broker would have sent you the offering memorandum, T12 and rent roll. But if broker has not sent you T12 rent roll, you should ask for that, basically. That because these three documents are the most important documents that you need. These three documents are the most important document that you need for you to underwrite a deal, basically, right? So once you get these documents, you analyze the property, your property, you visit the property along with PM property management company or the construction company. That's a very important part, right? Because you want to analyze the property for appearance, quality of neighborhood, the building itself. So all that needs to be analyzed, and you want to see make sense. Number one, numbers are making sense. Number two, property is making sense or not. You are checking the roofs, basically, parking, curb appeal, you check all the utilities, basically the info, water, gas, electricity, things like that. check entrance and exit, of the community, get comparable. Once you have looked at the property, obviously you want to look at the comparables and those can be provided to you by broker, right? So you get all this information. This is it's almost like pre-due diligence. Normally you would do the due diligence after the PSA is signed, but you want to look at as much details about the property as possible. You are looking at all the financials, you are looking at all the tax records, surveys, drive around the neighborhood, and you will evaluate the kind of local properties, basically, find out what are the growth points, what are the future projects coming up in the area. So then you do the more rigorous underwriting, right? You want to do financial underwriting, you want to do the property underwriting, you want to look at the area, you want to make sure that this is something you want to get involved in, right? So that takes some time. It is not couple of days worth of work. It takes some time, for you to understand if you want to do that or not. So at the end, you want to review your underwriting with the broker and take broker's buy-in, and then you make an offer basically on the property. Once you have done all the pre-due diligence, you've done your underwriting, you have broker on your side, then you do the counter and basically go back and start negotiation with the seller, and then secure a contract, basically, right? So that's the process, and that's normally a process basically for anything, even for a single family home, but for multifamily, obviously it is a little bit bigger. Then once the contract is secured, you are writing the due diligence, and I'm sorry I was not on video, but once you have once you have the contract, you start the due diligence process. You start the property manager. Property manager typically does the due diligence. You cannot, if it's a bigger property, you probably don't have resources to do the due diligence, physical due diligence. And once your contract is signed, you are thinking about financing options. You start talking to finance brokers, local banks, credit unions, negotiate. Then you start negotiating with the finance brokers and banks about the offer that they would make on the property, loan for financing. And this loans and all this is a lengthy process. It's a discussion of its own. But in short, you would go to multiple brokers. You would go to local banks, finance, agencies, and they will try to secure lending for you, basically. So those finance brokers do their own underwriting before they submit the deal to the lender. So if you're in a bridge situation, brokers will ask for the construction budget, right? So you start to define the construction budget as you know more about the property. You continue to define your construction budget, and once you have picked the lender will do its own underwriting on the deal, right? So lenders come and visit the property. Lenders do environmental, they do the appraisal, lead paint study, and they look at the details of the project. They prepare the package, and once lender has done all this, environmental appraisal and all the studies, they submit the package to their investment committee, and you get the idea that once it is submitted, you get the final approval. At that time, hopefully by that time, you are working on the investment pitch deck also on the side, right? You start to have webinars with your investors. You start to have soft commits, basically. You start conversation with the attorney. Decide to go whether you want to go for 506B versus 506C. You kind of try to feel out whether you should go for 506B or 506C. The difference between 506B and 506C is 506B is open for accredited and non-accredited investors, but you cannot advertise 506B. In 506C, which is open only for accredited investors, but it can be advertised openly. 506B is only to friends and family members. So as I said, 506C you can advertise, 506B you cannot advertise. You look for a KP who can sign on the loan and have the liquidity available. Then basically, make sure you have reviewed the things, and you can you have to look at the deal basically and find out, are there any areas in the deal which you cannot do yourself? You have to find right partners for that. So in the appraisal, obviously, after the appraisal, you have the inspection, and if you have repairs and maintenance identified, you get a couple of quotes from your from various GCs and property managers. If the project is big, you need to strategize how you want to deal with the construction and repairs, right? So you have to identify who are the boots on the ground, who can visit the property when needed, basically. Collaborate with one or many construction companies who have done similar kind of projects in past. So very important thing is you need to have the companies who have done this kind of work before. Otherwise, you will be in hot soup. So next thing comes is, you are continuing to negotiate with those companies. That's an ongoing process, right? Once you have all these documents signed with these companies, you share all that information with the bank. From your existing, bank would need, if it's a big situation, bank would like to know all the construction budget, repair and maintenance. Then you have to start talking to the insurance brokers, basically. Connect your insurance broker to the lender's insurance person. Once you have identified who's you're going to be insurance broker typically works with the lender's insurance person to make sure that the insurance requirements of the lender are met correctly, right? So lender have specific insurance requirements. Once the quotes from the insurance guys make sense, you log that in, basically. You start your attorney to work on PPM and subscription agreement, basically. So to raise your money, to raise equity, you need to have the PP and the subscription agreements. We have talked about all that in many other webinars many times. But attorney will open all your companies. They will set up the escrow account, start sharing the PPM and subscription documents with your investors, basically. So again, this list goes on and on. I mean, I'm trying to cut it short, trying to tell you that it is a comprehensive business. Okay, it needs property, location, brokers for financing, brokers for insurance, PM companies, property management companies, general contractors, contract with those general contractors, and SEC regulations, PPM, subscription document, and investors who will come in and invest in the deal with you. So basically, you start collecting money from your investors in the escrow, basically. So once you are getting the money, then you go into closing. That's how this works. And all of this move simultaneously. They are in parallel. They move parallelly. So I would recap it once again. If you want to do syndication business, you want to get associated with a company or with a group as soon as possible, because you cannot do this business on your own in the beginning, right? It takes some time. It takes a couple of years for you to learn and establish right contacts in the market, right? In the market where you want to do deals. So it's better to learn from the pros, connect yourself with a group, and do the deals with them. And the best way to do a deal with somebody is to help them out, help a group out, raise some equity for them, get some general partnership in the project, and that will help you to, have a foot in the door. Basically, you will learn about the business, and slowly, once you have learned it over 6 months, a year, or 2 years, then you try to do it on your own. Typically, you cannot do it on your own. It is a team sport. You will connect to people like yourself in this business on a very regular basis, and you find the superpower. What is your superpower? Your superpower could be finding the deals. Somebody's superpower could be that they are KPs and they have the liquidity available. Somebody's superpower is to underwrite the deal. Somebody's superpower is to asset management. So one is acquisition, second is equity, third is asset management. So you can find out which area do you want to focus in, and then you start working on deals with somebody, and over a period of time you realize, okay, now I am ready. I should be able to start it on my own. That's how typically the progression goes. So I just want to make sure that in a short span of 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, I explained you something. In addition to this, I would like to share a deal that we have for which we are raising, and I'm going to take only 5 more minutes on that, and then I will open up for question and answers for everybody. And by the way, Tim says hello. Nice to meet you, Tim. Thanks for joining. We have 106 unit apartment complex that we are buying, Archway Apartments in Riverdale, Georgia. And I just want to talk very briefly about the deal that we have. This is a deal. Basically, it's a value add asset in a strong market in Atlanta, MSA. It has upside potential. We will have a value add program, and we will increase the operational efficiencies. It has an attractive debt from Fannie Mae, 3.79%, and it has 7 years left on it. So it's 3.79 blended interest rate for over the next 7 years, right? So it has strong cash on cash return, 7% over 5-year hold period. And the good cash flow is projected to start in year 1 itself, right? So current ownership has completed 60% of the value add program. We have, that gives us the opportunity to capitalize on a proven strategy. So we have 40% unit that we need to go in and upgrade. So as I said, 7% cash on cash return, 18% average annualized return over 5-year period. So about 1.9x basically, and 15 IRR. It is a 506C deal. It is open for accredited investors only. Purchase price is 13.4 million. We are raising about 6.1 million. And current loan that we are assuming is about 9.78. So we have 9.78 loan, plus we have some capex and some fees and stuff. So all in all, the project valuation is about 15.7 million. Out of that, the purchase price is 13.4 million. So this is how the returns look like. $100,000 capital would give in first year 4,000, second year 7,000, third year 7,500, fourth year 9,000, and in fifth year when we sell it 65,000. So total return on 100,000 is 92.57% over 5-year period. That equates to about 18.51% average annual return, about 15.55% IRR, and average cash and cash returns of 7.34%. So that's the deal that we have. We are closing this deal in next 3 weeks. We are looking for investors who are willing to invest in a great deal like this. Again, 7.35% average cash and cash, about 15% IRR, and average annual return of it about 18.5%, right? So those who want to know a little bit more about this deal, take a screenshot of this slide. There are 3 QR code again here. Webinar. We did a webinar on this deal a couple of weeks ago. You just take the screenshot of the whole thing. If you scan the first QR code, that is the webinar. Second QR code is the slide deck that we have. And if you are ready to invest or you want to know more about the deal, click on the third, scan the third QR code. It will take you to our portal. You can learn more about the deal on cash flow portal, basically. So I have tried to give you all the information in as limited time as possible. We respect everybody's time very much, right? So basically, so Kyle wanted to talk about, so yeah, Kyle, I will talk to you. I think I responded back to you, but I will respond back if you have not gotten my email. Okay. So for this, so Kyle is asking, how did you find the deal? So basically, we have our network. We have dealt with this seller in past. This is on the market deal, but the seller had good terms with us. We saw the deal. We bid on the deal. Seller liked us, so we got the deal. In terms of the lending, basically, as I said, on this deal is a loan assumption. So seller has already about $9.7 million loan on the deal, which we are assuming. So it has attractive debt with a Fannie Mae loan that has 3.79% blended interest rate. So this is not a new loan. We are assuming an existing loan. A new loan would probably be about anywhere from 5 to 6%, and probably more, or maybe 7%. So that the only reason this deal works is because it has an attractive debt rate. So you see, we have about 9.7 coming from the bank at 3.79% over the next 7 years. So that kind of creates a lot of cushion for us. Overall average annual return is 18.5%. Again, these are the QR codes. Kyle, I will definitely reach out to you. Will you have the option to hold on back end and still have the substantial return? So as I said, we will have the way returns are projected here. You will have, just look at the total returns on investment. If somebody did invest 100,000, they'll get 4,000 in year one. So substantial return is most of the, not most. So there are two pieces of any return, right? One is the regular cash flow, and second is the return at the time of exit. So we have about 7 to 8% cash on cash return every year, and in the end, about 60 to 65% return when we exit the deal. So that's how it looks like. 4,000, 7,000, 4%, 7%, 7.5%, 9%, and then in year 5 when we exit, it is about 65% return on the money. So if you see, these are the average returns: 18.5% average annual return, IRR of 15.5, and average cash on cash of 7.35. So yeah, these are the things that I have. And if you want to register for the next week's webinar, this is another QR code. There are a lot of QR codes, guys. So I think the most important ones are these three. And obviously, if you send me an email, I will send you this presentation. This website, this deal is there on our website, cashflowchamps.com/new deal. You will see that deal there. But if you just you want to scan the invest now, it will take you to cash flow portal where we have all the information about the deal. That's all I have. It's about 30 minutes. I'm here to answer any more questions anybody has. Feel free to answer anything. As I said earlier, if you want to start in syndication business, you should start building relationships, right? Because it's a relationship business. Brokers, lenders, insurance brokers, finding the property management company, general contract, GC companies, and most important thing is equity. You need to have the equity. Without equity, you cannot do a deal. So two components of this business: one is deal, one other is investor. Deal and investor. Deal and investor. If you have deal, you don't have investors, it's not going to work. If you have investors, you don't have deal, you will not have, investors will not stick around. They want to invest their money. They want their money to start working ASAP. So, yeah, that's all I have. Feel free to let me know. Any questions? Solomon is asking, I'm a commercial triple net real estate syndicator. Does your company invest in commercial real estate? Yeah, we are commercial. Multifamily is commercial. Commercial real estate, and we are into commercial real estate. Basically, we are not doing triple net right now, but we could do it. If you are interested to learn more about multifamily space, as Christian is saying, feel free to reach out. You can send an email to Christian at cashflowchamps.com, and he has given his phone number also, 703-599-9839. 703-599-89. I'm sorry, 703-599-9839. That's his cell phone. I'm not sure if everybody is able to see the Q&A box, but Christian, CRISTIAN at cashflowchamps.com. And in addition to that, you can send me an email, Prashant, PRASHANT at cashflowchamps.com, or Paul, PAUL, Paul at cashflowchamps.com. Well, that's all I have. Feel free to respond. Any other questions, guys? Thank you so much. If you want to register for next week's webinar, this is the next week's webinar QR code. Feel free to register for next week's webinar, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much all for your time. Appreciate it very much.